10 tips and tricks in IntelliJ IDEA that you might not have known. If you're new to Java development, you're still probably getting used to your IDE. Chances are, you're still probably using some old software like NetBeans or Eclipse. IntelliJ IDEA, however, is probably the most useful and modern Java IDE there is out there, and if you think the free version doesn't have the features you need, you're probably not looking hard enough. Here are some of the tricks I have found using IntelliJ that you might not have known. The tips in this video will progressively get more advanced. Number 1. Code generation. It's very easy to generate snippets of code. This is helpful for when you need to quickly create a getter or setter method or constructor. Simply type Ctrl-N on a Mac or Alt-Insert on Windows. Select the type of method you want to generate, select the fields for which you want to generate the code, then hit Enter. If you want to generate code for multiple fields, hold down Shift to select a multiple. Number 2. Comments. Commenting out code is useful for removing code without completely deleting the code in case you need it later. To quickly comment out lines of code, select the lines you want and press Command / on Mac or Control / on Windows, and the lines will be commented out. To uncomment the lines, select the lines again, type Command / or Windows equivalent, and they will no longer be commented out. Number 3. Refactoring. It is said that the two hardest things in programming are naming things, memory management, and off-by-one errors, and the first one is no exception. Often you will find yourself having to rename identifiers. This is easy to do in IntelliJ. Just right-click on the identifier, go to Refactor, Rename, and type a new name for the identifier. You can do this to class names, field names, method names, and variables. You can do a lot of tasks easily with refactoring. Just play around with the options under the refactor menu to see what each one does. Number 4. Declaration and usages. Need to quickly navigate to a certain method or field? Hold down Command on Mac or Control on Windows and click the method or field to jump to its declaration. To view all usages of the field or method, do the same thing but on the declaration. This navigational tip is helpful in large projects where multiple classes are stored throughout multiple packages. Number 5. Artifacts. In IntelliJ, building a jar requires you to create an artifact. Go to your project structure. On Mac, this is Command /. On Windows, this is Ctrl-Shift-Alt-S. Then click on Artifacts, click the plus sign, hover over Jar, and click From Modules with Dependencies. Select your main class, if any, and click OK. Then click the box that says Build on Make. Now click Apply, and you're good to go. To build the jar, click the Make button on the top right, and after the process is done, the jar file will show up in your project directory under Alt/Artifacts/project name jar. Number 6. Adding external libraries and jars to your project. Adding dependencies is crucial to me as a Bukkit developer. I often need to build jars like build a spigot.jar or an API. To do this in IntelliJ, open your project structure, click on Libraries, click on the plus symbol, then click on Java. Navigate to your jar file, select it or multiple, then click OK. Click OK again and your dependencies are added. Number 7. Bundling dependencies with your jar files. If you've added dependencies to your project, these libraries will need to be available during runtime. If you create your jar file artifact after you add your dependencies, they will already be extracted into your jar file. But if you add a dependency later on, it will not be extracted into your jar file. You can add it by going to your artifact in your project structure, clicking on the plus symbol under Output Layout, selecting Extracted Directory, and selecting the jar file of your library. But be careful with this. Most APIs are licensed under an open source license that requires your code to be under the same license as well. So if your software is proprietary, you cannot extract a library like Apache Commons directly into your jar. Number 8. Adding dependencies with Maven. Maven is growing to be a popular software project management system. Every once in a while, you'll find yourself needing to depend on a library that is only available from Maven. To add this kind of library, go to your project structure, go to Libraries, click on the plus symbol, and click From Maven. Here you can do two things. Enter the Maven coordinates or search for the library. Once you've selected the right library, make sure Download To is checked. Then click OK. The jars from Maven will be automatically downloaded and added to your library. Number 9. Git. Git is a version control system that allows you to keep track of changes to your code. IntelliJ has built-in support for Git, among other version control systems. To initialize Git in your project, go to VCS, import into version control, create Git repository. Select your source folder and click OK. Then open the version control window by going to View, Tool Windows, Version Control. Right-click on Unversioned Files and click Add to VCS. You can now start committing changes by pressing Command K on Mac or Control K on Windows Windows. If you want to put the project on GitHub, go to VCS, import into version control, share project on GitHub. Enter a project name and description, and click share. Your project is now on GitHub. To upload changes to GitHub in the future, hover over commit and select commit and push instead of clicking commit. Number 10. Quickly testing your Bukkit plugin. In IntelliJ, you can customize run configurations. You can create one that will automatically build your jar file, move it to the plugins folder of your test server, and start your server. This will easily improve the efficiency of development. First, create a run configuration by going to Run, Edit Configurations. Now click the plus symbol, and then click Jar Applications. Enter a name for the configuration. Next to Path to Jar, navigate to and select the Spigot server jar. Next to Working Directory, navigate to the directory in which your test server is located. Scroll down and under Before Launch Activate Tool window, click the plus symbol and click Build Artifacts. Check your jar file and click OK. Then in your project structure, go to Artifacts and select your jar file. Change the output directory to the plugins folder of your test server. Now you can press the Run button or Shift F10 to build the artifacts and start the server. That's it for 10 tips and tricks for using IntelliJ IDEA. I do want to mention before I leave that the keyboard shortcuts mentioned in this video may not be entirely accurate, for they can be different across systems and depending on the way you set up IntelliJ initially. For Mac, I use the Mac OS X key map, and for Windows, I use the Windows/Linux key map. To change this, go to the Preferences of IntelliJ, go to Key Map, and next to Key Map, select the desired map. If you found this video helpful, please share it, or at the very least leave a like. Also, critical feedback is welcome. I'm always trying to improve my skills, and if you think I'm doing something wrong, please let me know. Thank you for watching.